Sunday. Now, I'm not sure why I'm writing this down on paper and not on my computer. I guess I've just noticed some odd things. It's not that I don't trust the computer. I need to organize my thoughts. I need to get down all the details somewhere objective, somewhere I know that what I write can't be deleted or changed. Not that that's happened, but it's just everything blurs together. And the fog of memory lends a strange cast to things. I'm starting to feel cramped in this small apartment. Maybe that's the problem. I just had to go and choose the cheapest apartment, the only one in the basement. The lack of windows down here makes day and night seem to slip by seamlessly. I haven't even been out in a few days because I've been working on this programming project so intensively. I suppose I just wanted to get it done already. Hours of sitting and staring at a monitor can make anyone feel strange, I know, but I don't think that's it. I'm not sure when I first started to feel like something was off. I can't even define what it is. Maybe I just haven't talked to anyone in a while. That's the first thing that crept up on me. Everyone I normally talk to online while I program has been idle or simply not logged on at all. My instant messages go unanswered, and the last email I got was from a friend saying he'd talk to me when he got back from the store, but that was yesterday. I'd call with my cell phone, but the reception's terrible down here. Yeah, maybe that's it. I just need to call someone. I'm gonna go outside. Well, that didn't work so well. As the tingle of fear fades, I'm feeling a bit ridiculous for being scared at all. I looked in the mirror before I went out, but I didn't bother to shave the 2-day stubble I had grown. I figured I was just going out for a quick cell phone call. I did change my shirt though, 'cause it was lunchtime and I figured that I'd run into at least one person. That didn't end up happening, but I wish it did. When I went out, I opened the door to my apartment slowly. A small feeling of apprehension had lodged itself in me for some indefinable reason. I chalked it up to not having spoken to anyone but myself for a day or two. I peered down the dingy gray hallway, made dingier by the fact that it was a basement hallway. On one end, a large metal door led to the building's furnace room. It was locked, of course. 2 dreary soda machines stood guard by it. I had bought a soda from one the first day I moved in, but it had a 2-year-old expiration date. I'm fairly sure no one knows those machines are even down here, or my cheap landlady just doesn't care to get them restocked ever. I closed my door softly and walked the other direction, taking care not to make a sound. I have no idea why I chose to do that, but it was fun giving in to the strange impulse not to break the droning hum of the soda machines, at least for the moment. I got to the stairwell and took the stairs up to the building's front door. I looked through the heavy door's small square window and received quite the shock. It was definitely not lunchtime. A city gloom hung over the dark street outside, and the traffic lights at the intersection in the distance blinked amber. Dim clouds, purple and black from the glow of the city, hung overhead. Nothing moved, save the few sidewalk trees that shifted in the wind ever so slightly. I remember shivering, although I wasn't cold. Maybe it was the wind outside. I could vaguely hear it through the heavy metal door, and I knew it was that unique kind of late-night wind, the kind that was constant, cold, and quiet, save for the rhythmic music it made as it passed through countless unseen tree leaves. I decided not to go outside. Instead, I lifted my cell phone to the door's little window and checked the signal meter. The bars filled up the meter, and I gave myself a grin. Time to hear someone else's voice, I remember thinking, relieved. Such a strange thing to be afraid of nothing. I shook my head, laughing at myself silently. I hit the speed dial for my best friend Amy's number and held the phone up to my ear. It rang once, and then stopped. Nothing happened. I listened to silence for a good 20 seconds before I hung up. I frowned and looked at the signal meter again. Still full. I went to dial her number again, but then my phone rang in my hand, startling me. I put it up to my ear. Hello? I asked, immediately fighting down a small shock at hearing the first spoken voice in days, even if it was my own. I'd gotten used to the droning hum of the building's inner workings, my computer and the soda machines in the hallway. There was no response to my greeting at first, but then, finally, a voice came. "Hey," said a clear male voice, obviously of college age, like me. "Who's this?" John," I replied, confused. "Oh, sorry. Wrong number." And then he hung up. I lowered the phone slowly and leaned against the thick brick wall of the stairwell. That was strange. I looked at my received call list, but the number was unfamiliar. Before I could think on it further, the phone rang loudly, shocking me yet again. This time I looked at the caller before I answered. It was another unfamiliar number. This time I held the phone up to my ear, apprehensively saying nothing. I heard absolute silence, except for the general background noise of a phone. "John?" I breathed a sigh of relief. "Hey, it's you," I replied. "Who else would it be?" she responded. "Oh, the number. I'm at a party on 7th Street. My phone died just as you called me. This is someone else's phone, obviously." "Oh, okay," I said. "Where are you?" she asked. My eyes glanced over the drab, whitewashed, cylinder block walls and the heavy metal door with its small window. "At my building, just feeling cooped up. I didn't realize it was so late." "You should come here," she said. "Nah, I don't really feel like looking for some strange place by myself in the middle of the night," I said, looking out the window at the silent, windy street that secretly scared me just a tiny bit. "I think I'm going to just keep working or go to bed or something." "No way," she replied. "I can come get you. Your building is close to 7th Street, right?" "How drunk are you?" I asked lightheartedly. "You know where I live." "Oh, of course," she said abruptly. "I guess I can't get there by walking, huh?" "You could if you wanted to waste half an hour," I told her. Right. Okay, I have to go. Good luck with your work and stuff." I lowered the phone once more, looking at the numbers flash as the call ended. Then the droning silence suddenly reasserted itself in my ears. The two strange phone calls in the eerie street outside just drove home my aloneness in this empty stairwell. Perhaps from having seen too many scary movies, I had the sudden idea that something could look in the door's window and see me. Some sort of horrible entity that hovered at the edge of aloneness, just waiting to creep up on unsuspecting people that stray too far from other human beings. I know the fear was irrational, but no one else was around, so I jumped down the stairs, ran down the hallway into my room, and closed the door just as swiftly as I could while staying silent. Like I said, I feel a little bit ridiculous for being scared at nothing, but the fear's already faded. Writing this down helps a lot. It makes me realize nothing's wrong, filters out half-formed thoughts and fears, and leaves only cold, hard facts. It's late, I got a call from the wrong number, and Amy's phone died, so she called me back from another number. Nothing strange is happening. Still, there's something a little off about that conversation. I know it could have been just the alcohol she had, or was it even her that seemed off to me? Or was it? Oh, yes, that was it. I didn't realize it until this moment, writing these things down. I knew writing things down would help. She said she was at a party, but I heard only silence in the background. Of course, that really doesn't mean anything in particular, as she could have just gone outside to make the call. Well, no, that couldn't have been it either. I didn't hear the wind. I need to see if the wind is still blowing. Monday. I forgot to finish writing last night. I'm not sure what I expected to see when I ran up the stairwell and looked out the heavy metal door's window. Feeling ridiculous. Last night's fear seems hazy and unreasonable to me now. Can't wait to go out into the sunlight, though. I'm Going to check my email, shave, shower, and finally get out of here. Wait, I think I just heard something. It was thunder. The whole sunlight and fresh air thing didn't really happen. I went out into the stairwell and up the stairs only to find disappointment. The heavy metal door's little window showed only flowing water as torrential rain slammed against it. Only a very dim, gloomy light filtered in through the rain, but at least I knew it was daytime, even if it was a gray, sickly, wet day. I tried looking out the window and waiting for lightning to illuminate the gloom, but the rain was too heavy and I couldn't make out anything more than vague, weird shapes moving at odd angles and the waves washing down the windows. Disappointed, I turned around, but I didn't quite want to go back to my room. Instead, I wandered further up the stairs, past the first floor and the second. The stairs ended at the third floor, the highest in the building. I looked through the glass that ran up the outer wall of the stairwell, but it was just warped, thick kind that, scatters the light. Not that there was much to see through the rain to begin with. I opened the stairwell door and wandered down the hall. The 10 or so thick wooden doors, painted blue a long time ago, were all closed. I listened as I walked, but it was the middle of the day, so I wasn't surprised that I heard nothing but the rain outside. As I stood there in the dim hallway listening to the quiet rainfall, I had the strange fleeting impression that the doors were standing like giant, silent granite monoliths erected by some ancient forgotten civilization for some unfathomable guardian purpose. Lightning flashed, and I could have sworn that, for just a moment, the old grainy blue wood looked just like rough stone. I laugh at myself for letting my imagination get the best of me, but then it occurs to me that the dim gloom and lightning must mean there was a window somewhere in the hallway. A vague memory surfaced, and I suddenly recalled that the third floor had an alcove and an inset window halfway down the floor's hallway. Excited to look out into the rain and possibly see another human being, I quickly walked over to the alcove, finding the large, thin glass window. Rain washed down it, as with the front door's window, but I can open this one. I reached out a hand to slide it open, but hesitated. I had the strangest feeling that if I opened the window, I might see something absolutely terrifying on the other side. Everything's been so odd and quiet lately. So I came up with a plan and came back here to get what I needed. I don't seriously think I'll need any of it, but I'm bored, it's raining, and I'm going stir crazy. I came back to get my webcam. The cord isn't long enough to reach the third floor by any means, so instead I'm going to hide it between the 2 soda machines in the dark end of my basement hallway. Run the wire along the wall and under my door and put black duct tape over the wire to blend it with a black plastic strip that runs along the base of the hallway's walls. I know this is silly, but I really don't have anything better to do. Well, nothing happened. I propped open the hallway to stairwell door and steeled myself, then flung the heavy front door wide open and ran like hell down the stairs to my room and slammed the door. I watched the webcam on my computer intently, seeing the hallway outside my door and most of the stairwell. I'm watching it right now, actually, and I don't see anything interesting. I just wish the camera's position was different so I could see the front door. Hey, someone just came online. I got out an older, less functional webcam that I had in my closet to video chat with my friend online. I couldn't really explain to him why I wanted to video chat, but it felt good to see another person's face. He couldn't talk very long, and we didn't talk about anything meaningful, but I felt much better. My strange fears almost passed. I would feel completely better, but there was something odd about our conversation. I know that I've said that everything has seemed off, but still, he was very vague in his responses. I can't recall one specific thing that he even said, no particular name or place, event. But he did ask for my email address to keep in touch. Speaking of which, I just got an email. I'm about to go out. I just got an email from Amy asking me to meet her for dinner at the place we usually go to. I do love pizza, and I've been eating random food from my poorly stocked fridge for days, so I actually can't wait. Again, I feel ridiculous about the odd couple of days I've been having. I should just destroy this journal when I get back. Oh, another email. Oh my god. Oh my god. I almost just left and opened the door. I almost opened the door. But I read the email first. It was from a friend who I hadn't heard from in a long time and was sent to a huge number of emails that must have been every person he saved in his address list. It had no subject and it said simply, "Seen with your own eyes. Don't trust them, they." The hell is that supposed to mean? The words shock me and I just keep going over and over them. Is it a desperate email sent just as something happened? The words are obviously cut off without finishing. On any other day I would have dismissed this as spam from a computer virus or something, but the words. Seen with your own eyes. I can't help but read over this journal and think back on the last few days. Realize that I have not seen a person with my own eyes or talked to another person face to face. The webcam conversation with my friend was so strange, so vague, so eerie now that I think about it. Was it eerie? Or is my fear clouding my memory? My mind toys with the progression of events I've written here, pointing out that I have not been presented one single fact that I did not specifically give out unsuspectingly. The random wrong number that got my name and the immediate strange return call from Amy, the friend that asked for my email address. I messaged him first when I saw him online. Then I got my first email a few minutes after that conversation. Oh my god, that phone call with Amy. I said over the phone. I said that I was within half an hour's walk of 7th Street. They know I'm near there. What if they're trying to find me? Where is everyone else? Why haven't I seen or heard anyone else in days? No, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I need to calm down. This madness needs to end. I don't know what to think. I ran about my apartment furiously, holding my cell phone up to every corner to see if it got a signal through the heavy walls. Finally, in the tiny bathroom near one ceiling corner, I got a single bar. Holding my phone there, I sent a text message to every number in my list. Not wanting to betray anything about my unfounding fears, I simply said, "You seen anyone else face to face lately?" At that point, I just wanted any reply back. I didn't care what the reply was or if I embarrassed myself. I tried to call someone a few times, but I couldn't get my head up high enough, and if I brought my cell phone down even an inch, it lost signal. Then I remembered the computer and rushed over to it, instant messaging everyone online. Most were idle or away from their computer, though. No one responded. My messages grew more frantic, and I started telling people where I was and to stop by in person for a host of barely passable reasons. I didn't care about anything at that point. I just needed to see another person. I also tore apart my apartment, looking for something that might have been missed, some way to contact another human being without opening that goddamn door. I know it's crazy. I know it's unfounded, but what if? What if? I just need to be sure. I taped the phone to the ceiling in case. Tuesday. The phone rang. Exhausted from last night's rampage, I must have fallen asleep, but I awoke to the phone ringing and ran to the bathroom, stood on the toilet, and flipped open the phone taped to the ceiling. It was Amy, and I feel so much better. She was really worried about me and apparently had been trying to contact me since the last time I talked to her. She's coming over now, and yes, she knows where I am without me telling her. God, I feel so embarrassed. I'm definitely throwing this journal away before anyone sees it. I don't even know why I'm writing in it now. Maybe it's because it's the only communication I've had at all since God knows when. I look like hell, too. Looked in the mirror just before I came back in here. My eyes are sunken, my stubble's thicker, and I just look unhealthy. My apartment is trashed, but I'm not going to clean it up. I think I need someone else to see what I've been through. These past few days have not been normal. I'm not one to imagine things. I know I must have been the victim of extreme probability. I probably missed seeing another person a dozen times. I just happened to go out when it was late at night or the middle of the day when everyone was gone. Everything's perfectly fine. I know this now. Plus, I found something in the closet last night that's helped me tremendously. A little TV. I set it up just before I wrote this and it's on in the background. TV's always been an escape for me, and it reminds me that there's a world beyond these dingy brick walls. I'm glad Amy's the only one that responded to me after last night's frantic pestering of everyone I could contact. She's been my best friend for years. She doesn't know it, but I count the day that I met her among one of the few moments of true happiness in my life. I still remember that warm summer day fondly. Seems like a different reality from this dark, rainy, lonely place. I feel like I spent days sitting in that playground, much too old to play, just talking with her and hanging around doing nothing at all. I still feel like I can go back to that moment sometimes, and it reminds me that this damn place isn't all there is. Oh, finally, a knock on the door. I thought it was odd that I couldn't see her through the web camera I had hid between the two soda machines. I figured maybe it was just bad positioning, like when I couldn't see out the front door. I should have known. After the knock, I yelled through the door jokingly that I had a camera between the soda machines because I was embarrassed by myself that I had taken this paranoia so far. After I did that, I saw her image walk over to the camera and look down at it. She smiled and waved. "Hey," she said to the camera brightly, giving it a wry look. "It's weird, I know," I said into the mic attached to my camera. "I've had a weird few days." "Must have," she replied. "Open the door, John." I hesitated. How could I be sure? "Hey, humor me a second here," I told her through the mic. "Tell me one thing about us. Just prove to me you're you." She gave the camera a weird look. All right," she said slowly, thinking. We met randomly at a playground when we were both way too old to be there?" I sighed deeply as reality returned and fear faded. God, I've been so ridiculous. Of course it was Amy. The day wasn't anywhere in the world except in my memory. I never even mentioned it to anyone, not out of embarrassment, but out of a strange, secret nostalgia and a longing for those days to return. There was some unknown force at work trying to trick me, as I had feared. There was no way they could know about that day. "All right, I'll explain everything," I told her. "Be right there." I ran to my small bathroom and fixed my hair as best I could. I looked like hell, but she'd probably understand. Snickering at my own unbelievable behavior and the mess I'd made of the place, I walked to the door. I put my hand on the doorknob and gave the mess one last look. So ridiculous, I thought. My eyes traced over the half-eaten food lying on the ground, the overflowing trash bin, and the bed I'd tipped to the side, looking for God knows what. I almost turned to the door and opened it. My eyes fell on one last thing. The old webcam. The one I used for that weird, vacant chat with my friend. Its silent black sphere laid haphazardly tossed to the side, its lens pointed at the table where this journal's been laying. An overwhelming terror took me as I realized that if something could see through that camera, it would have seen what I wrote about that day with Amy. I asked her for just one random thing about us, and she chose the only thing in the world that I thought they or it did not know. But it did. It did know. It could have been watching me the whole time. I didn't open the door. I screamed. I screamed in uncontrollable terror. I stomped the old webcam on the floor. The door shook and the doorknob tried to turn, but I didn't even hear Amy's voice through the door. Was the basement door made to keep out drafts too thick, or was Amy not outside? What could have been trying to get in? If it wasn't her, what the hell is out there? I saw her on my computer through the camera outside. I heard her on the speakers through the camera, but is it real? How can I know? She's gone now, I screamed and shouted for help. I piled up everything in my apartment against the front door. To be continued.